Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome from chilly Rome. Gonna admit everybody. Welcome. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Mary Margaret. Yes. First of all, let me know if you can hear and see me. It is a bit dark, but that's inevitable. It is cold everywhere, I believe, during this time of the year. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody. Excellent, excellent. I am super excited because we are back live after quite a long time since the fall, the winter started. We had too many risks of rain, bad weather, or darkness, so I wasn't able to take you outside, but this is a special occasion. It's Christmas time, it's the holidays, and I am a super special area, uh, basically where we celebrate Christmas mostly here in Rome. Hello from sunny Massachusetts. Awesome. I guess it's pretty cold there too now. Hello from Texas. Yes, yes, keep writing where you're from. And while we're waiting for some more folks to connect, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes before starting to give everybody enough time. I would also start to ask you if you have ever heard the word presepe in Italian, or it would translate as nativity scene or nativity manger. Okay, Merry Christmas from the artist community of Carrizozo, New Mexico. Oh, I'm so happy. Welcome, welcome. We're going to visit a very special and highly international museum on this occasion. So I'm super happy that there are some artists that are connected. Hello, yes, happy holidays, Ashley's to you too. Hi, Janet. Hi, Kate. Super happy that it's your favorite city. It's mine too. Lydia from Las Vegas. Good, good. Nice, nice, everybody. Let me know, let me know. Have you ever heard of the word presepe? Perhaps if you've been to Italy, or especially if you've been to Naples, which is very typical for nativity scenes. You might have heard this word. Happy Hanukkah, yes. Happy holidays to everybody celebrating. Yes, Natalie has heard. Good, good. Connecticut, yeah, all the cold areas of the world. So you feel me. You are with me at the moment. We've been getting this cold wave from the north, and it's unusually cold here in Rome. Okay, what's the weather like in Taiwan? Okay. Yes, yes. Happy holidays, everybody. Oh, Millie, Millie, yay. How are you? Millie was with me in Rome a few weeks ago. We had a lovely time. Good, good. Glad to see you logged back. Okay, awesome. Gail from Las Vegas. Unusually cold there too. Okay, Slovakia. Good. I'm glad that I have someone connected from some countries I will actually talk about today. We're, as I said, going to a very international museum, which is in this area. Okay, good. I think we're almost ready. Meanwhile, let me tell you what we're going to do today. Let me introduce myself. We're in St. Peter's Square, and it's a special occasion. We're going to share together a moment before the holidays, no matter what religion you're from or if you celebrate. We are in the symbol of Catholic religion. We're in St. Peter's Square, so we're going to enjoy some special decorations that are around only during this time of the year. And then we are going to head to the Museum of Nativity Scenes, which opens only during the holidays here in the square. My name is Alba, for those of you who don't know me yet. I am Italian. I live here in Rome. I am a licensed tour guide for both Rome and the Vatican. I'm also an archaeologist, a PhD in archaeology. So my focus as an archaeologist is the afterlife of archaeological sites after ancient Roman times, especially how they are reused and conceived in later time periods. So St. Peter's Basilica and Square are super duper studied in my field of study. So enjoy, everybody. One last memo before I turn off the chat. I am going to share with you the link. Hold on, what's going on? Okay, I can read here. I'm going to share with you the link that will guide you to my personal page on World Virtual Tours. I'm sure you already know that this project is entirely free and it is possible thanks to your support, thanks to your tips. So I would like to thank you, first of all, for your support, for building this great community that takes you all around the world in Rome here on my behalf. And please do keep supporting us. We have so many wonderful places that await us for 2025. And I really, really can't wait. This said, I am going to turn off the chat. And as usual, I will turn it back on for a Q&A moment. Okay, I have to go sideways because okay, because phone is tilted. Okay, so let's go. Ready, set, go. I started on purpose from this little corner because I want to give you a surprise effect. I love wow effects. Who's been with me on tour in person knows what I'm talking about, the wow effect, the fact that you're in a little narrow space or in a narrow street and then all of a sudden, wow, you have something magical appearing. And this is a little bit the idea behind of the design of this square. So we're gonna experiment. We're going to experience what any pilgrim would experience in the 1600s. So I'm going to turn the camera and you're going to see just a piece of marble, first of all. Here you go. Do not worry, because as every pilgrim back then, from a narrow, narrow space, then voila, you would have the beauty and the magic, not a police car running you over. Let's wait. Here you go. You would have this gorgeous, gorgeous square, the square of St. Peter's Basilica. Here we are. We are enjoying together the view of the, what is today the largest square of Rome. This is the result of a wonderful design by the renowned artist Gian Lorenzo Bernini. The works began in 1656. And the nickname for this square today, which is adorable in Italian because it is known as l'abbraccio, the hug, tells us a lot about the idea that Gian Lorenzo Bernini had to create this space. He wanted all Christians coming to St. Peter's Basilica to feel embraced by the atmosphere, hugged. So he actually made a doodle, a sketch of his idea, and he drew a giant hugging St. Peter's Basilica that you see there in the back. This is what these two lines of columns, this one on my left, on your left too, and this other one on the right, this is what they are doing. They are the arms of the giant hugging us. So I am underlining the idea that Bernini had. And by the way, if this name sounds familiar to you, you are right, because we already talked about him when we were, for example, in Piazza Navona. He designed the Four Rivers Fountain. Or also when we went to Trevi Fountain, because he was the first designer of Trevi Fountain too. He was also the artist who stayed the longest in charge of the works of managing the works of St. Peter's Basilica, 50 years. So really, he did it all. And this effect that he wanted, this embracing effect, was a little lost when a big change was applied to this area. In 1936, with the fascist regime ruling on Rome, Mussolini, the dictator, decided to change the view, the urban setting of the city by creating this street that you see over there called Via della Conciliazione, or viale, because it's big. And to create this, he destroyed an entire neighborhood known as Borgo Spina back then. Many people lost their home for the creation of this street. Because the idea back then, now that we're getting to the center of the view, was to create a large boulevard. That was more in style, with the taste of the time. So you see now we have this large street that gives you quite a panoramic view from the beginning of it. And it is, yes, spectacular, but we lost the original idea that Bernini had, the one of coming from a very narrow street. No matter where you came, from what side, you would use a very tight street, and then all of a sudden you had this gorgeous void, this emptiness that would welcome you inside the most sacred area of the city. So here we are. Now, the back of the square is St. Peter's Basilica itself, right? There you see now. Let me get closer. You can enjoy the view of the facade. And with the lights off, it's a bit hard to spot, but you can kind of see the lantern on top of it. I'm going to use, let's see my finger. There it is up there, right? That is the dome, the famous dome of St. Peter's Basilica. In Roman dialect, we call it cupolone, big dome. That one, designed by Michelangelo, is the tallest Catholic dome still standing today in the world. And no Catholic dome is allowed to be built taller than this one. So it will remain forever the tallest one. 133 meters tall. It looks tiny here because we're a bit distant, but believe me, it is quite enormous, especially seen from the inside. And you see it from all parts of the city, right? Standing over the city. To give you a perspective, consider that the Statue of Liberty could fit inside. That's how big this dome is. As I said, designed by Michelangelo. Fun fact, this window in the center, let's see, I'll use my finger, this one with curtains is the one and only window, the one from which, when the time will come, after electing a new pope, a cardinal will show up from that window and pronounce the formula in Latin that I think all of us have heard at least once in the news or in person, if you're lucky enough, right? Nuncio vobis magnum gaudium, habemus papam. I announce you with great thrill, we have a pope. And that's a moment when the crowd knows that the new pope will show up for the first time in history after being elected. And the last time was when Pope Francis arrived, right, and became a pope. That's a very special day, but apart from that one important moment in history, then you have 2 chances every week to see the Pope. On Wednesday mornings, he celebrates Mass from this staircase. Otherwise, on, it's a bit dark, but on Sunday mornings, the Angelus from this palace right here, second window from the right, first line of windows. So actually, it's not that impossible, right, to see the Pope in Rome. When you come to Rome, consider either Wednesday or Sunday to come to this square to see him in person. Now, we have already, you kind of already noticed, right? There you go, lit up, perfect timing. Usually we do not have a Christmas tree in St. Peter's Square. Like every year, the tradition is to light up a Christmas tree on December the 8th. That is a national holiday in Italy. It celebrates the latest dogma that it was introduced by the Catholic Church, the Immaculate Conception. On this day, we also traditionally put up all the Christmas decorations in Italy and turn on the Christmas lights. So there's a big ceremony. There's usually choirs that sing around the city. And every year, a town usually offers itself to donate a tree to be decorated here in this square. Do not worry if you are concerned about cutting off such a big tree, because the choice is always made in an eco-friendly way. For example, this one tree this year came from the town called Ledro, which is in northern Italy, in Trentino Alto Adige. If anybody ever went skiing in Italy, probably reached the Alto Adige area. So this tree was actually selected from a forest that follows very strict environmental rules, where there's monitoring and regulating the cultivation and growth and cutting of trees. So basically this tree, which is a spruce, by the way, he's 60 years old, was 60 years old, and his time had come anyway to be cut to allow the regeneration of the forest. So this fella was destined to be cut off. So he was just cut off and donated to the Vatican. That was the difference. So every year a tree is donated, and that allows the town to actually be heard of. Usually there are very, very small towns. Ledro just has about 5,000 citizens at the moment, and they are super proud. There's a special ceremony when the tree is cut, when it is transported to the city, and also usually the town lends a band and a choir, right, that will sing when the tree is lit. So this is definitely a very big tradition here in Rome. And something to keep in mind. However, and this introduces us to the museum where we are soon about to enter, something more characteristic that is put in St. Peter's Square every year is the big nativity scene. Now, I will zoom in. I hope that my freezing fingers will actually be read by my phone. There you go. Sorry for the violent zoom in, but with this cold, I'm surprised that it actually works. So this is a little hut. And I don't know if you notice inside, but there are some characters. We will see a lot of them very soon, so do not worry if you do not recognize them right away. But we have a Mary, an empty bed, and next to her, Joseph. This is a typical nativity scene. The bed is empty. There is no baby Jesus yet. If you know how nativity scenes work, you should know that the reason has to do with the fact that we are waiting for Christmas Day. That is when we will position the baby Jesus, who will stay until we remove all the Christmas decorations. Now, just like the Christmas tree, also the nativity scene is donated every year by a different town that usually has an important history, tradition tied to artisans that make nativity scenes, or there is a special connection, specific year tied to the history of that place. So this year, the island of Grado was chosen. It is a little lagoon, which is east from Venice. A little town that is actually, for its history, known as the first Venice. Very interesting history. And what is so special about this nativity scene is that it recreates the typical fishermen huts that were used until 100 years ago by the fishermen of the Grado Island. And all the materials used to make this little hut are actually typical materials that you find in Grado even nowadays. All the vegetation, there's even some animals around. They are all typical of the Grado area. Let me walk to the other side because I want to show you some other characters. I'm hoping not to bump into people. And meanwhile, there is a choir that is starting to sing Feliz Navidad. I don't know if you can hear it, because Zoom does a wonderful job at isolating noises, but there's a big Feliz Navidad song being played at the moment. Okay, but it's pretty groovy hit, pretty groovy tune too. Okay, I wanted to show you, yes, yeah, almost there, everybody. And by the way, there is water, right? You can see it better from this side. There you go. And sorry, didn't want to film the policeman. Okay, over there. On the boat, right? There are three men being transported by a fisherman. Those are the three magi. Another tradition in Catholic religion, we celebrate the Epiphany on January 6th, which is the day we traditionally believe that the three magi brought the gifts to baby Jesus just born. And here they are. Usually in every nativity scene, especially children love to do this, but you would move them, like starting from Christmas Day, you just add them to the nativity scene, and just like playing with little dolls in a dollhouse, you just move them one day after another, closer and closer to the hut with baby Jesus. And then finally on January 6th, they are in front of baby Jesus, where we celebrate, right, the Epiphany. So these statues of Magi, I can see the water. They actually they move. The boat is just slightly anchored with a little rope, and when it's windy, the boat moves around. So it is quite a dynamic nativity scene. So these nativity scenes, and let's go around meanwhile. Sorry, everybody, I don't want to film you. Okay. These nativity scenes have a very, very ancient origin. So the first time that a nativity scene was mentioned was actually with Saint Francis himself. We have news of a special nativity scene that Saint Francis wanted to create to commemorate the birth of Jesus. And he had this idea in 1224 in a little town outside of Rome in the Lazio region called Greccio. So we believe that that might be one of the first nativity scenes that was ever created. So a very, very ancient tradition, at least 800 years old. Who knows if even more ancient. The tradition of representing a nativity is actually very old. So who knows, there's actually this tradition of having little landscapes in your home to celebrate the birth of Jesus is actually much more ancient. I kind of distracted you with information so I could take my time to step on this special piece of floor. Who can read Italian? What does it say? Centro del colonnato. Center of the colonnade. Why is this signaled? Why is this here? Well, little side note I would like to tell you about the perfect geometry that is followed by this square. So this is an ellipse. This square is not a perfect circle, so it's an oval basically. So it means that it has two centers instead of one, and we're here right next to one of the two centers, the focal point it's called. Well, since this is the focal point, right? So we are on the center of the left side, right, of the oval. If we step on it, we are exactly at the same distance from every single set of columns. So even if we have 4 columns for each ray, right? There's one here, one here. Each one of these is in reality actually 4 aligned columns. But since we are standing in the center of the colonnade, we only see one, the one in the front of the set of each set. So as soon as I step away from the center of the colonnade, you will not have this effect any longer, right? So a simple geometry rule. And look, I'm going to step away. And already, for example, the columns on the other side, you can see that they're not aligned, right? Like the ones we saw on this side. Over here, voila. See, they're not aligned any longer. So when you come in person to Rome, you can enjoy this little fun effect. I am getting closer to this side of something else that I wanted to spend some time talking about, because this obelisk that you see here, we go up and up and up and up. Yes, it is definitely much taller than the Christmas tree, everybody. This obelisk is actually the most ancient artifact present in this area. This obelisk has been here long before St. Peter's Basilica was even conceived. If this obelisk could speak, it could tell us the full history of construction of St. Peter's Basilica. Now, who remembers what obelisks are and why there are so many in Rome? They are tied to the interest for ancient Romans, but the interest of ancient Romans for Egypt after its conquest. So this obelisk was imported in Rome, specifically in the year 37 after Christ, from Egypt by an emperor, Caligula, and used to actually decorate a structure that we lost. This is the only thing that has been preserved. Let me take a few steps back. It used to decorate a circus. Now, we know that sadly many Christians lost their lives during persecutions in structures called circuses. This used to decorate the circus of Emperor Nero, the one where we know that also St. Peter was killed and lost his life. So the obelisk used to be more to the side, more to the right of St. Peter's Square. But then it was moved in 1587, actually, by a great mind, a great architect, Domenico Fontana. Consider that we have the chronicles from the special day when this obelisk was moved to the center in front, in front of the symmetrical center of St. Peter's Basilica's facade. We know, we have the numbers. 800 workers were involved, together with 140 horses and 44 pulleys, working all together in an extremely elaborate way to move this obelisk, lay it down, add the cross on top, and stick it back up without it falling and breaking down, right? It was an epic day, remembered by all the news of the time, okay? So this obelisk has actually been here from the year 37 in the area, while St. Peter's Basilica was begun about 300 years after, right? So it's the most ancient thing in the square. Now, there are many legends tied to it. For example, some believe that the ashes of Caesar are hidden inside, but no, nothing like that. Although I would like to tell you a fun fact about a piece of floor that is right next to it. So remember this. There is a rose of winds surrounding the obelisk all around, and we are standing in the section of the southwest winds, the Libeccio wind. Now, there's a little legend. By the way, this rose of winds goes all around and has also become a giant meridian that has allowed, the obelisk to become a giant meridian surrounded by this rose of winds. So I'm going to do my best with my finger, hoping it won't make everything fuzzy. But if you look from the symbol of the Libeccio wind a little bit to the left. Okay. Here we are. And then I have to zoom in. Hopefully my freezing fingers once again, will work. See? Yay, it worked. Okay. Can you notice something here? Oops. There you go. There's a heart. There's a sideways heart. You see it. This one. Yeah. This is known as the Heart of Nero. There's many legends about it. Some say that Michelangelo himself sculpted it after his heart was broken. Some say that Bernini himself sculpted it because he never found true love. Some say it's the heart of Nero, which appeared mysteriously after killing all the Christians in this area. There's many legends tied to it. The most believable version, let's say, is tied to actually the architect who designed this Rose of Winds, who was also passionate about botanical studies. And in the 1800s, he actually published a book about all the plants he studied in South America, Among the plants he studied is a wonderful tomato plant, which had been started to be grown in Italy quite late in the 1800s. And he describes in this book his tomato as an upside down heart. So by connecting the dots, we believe that probably this little heart was sculpted by this botanist slash architect during the 1800s. That's the most acceptable version, but as I always tell you, you can choose the version, the most romantic version if you prefer it, right? And make sure to look for it when you are in St. Peter's Square. So remember the libeccio wind, southwest, and it's close to the white frame over here. Okay, perfect timing. While we're here, because it is finally time to head to the museum that I would like to show you last, cherry on the top of our time. Let me also tell you something about this very typical paving stone. Um, these are quite typical. If you've been to Italy, I am sure you've seen them at least once when walking around a city center all over Italy. They're quite common. Uh, they have become typical. Usually they are square shaped, about 12 centimeters side by side. They were first used to pave St. Peter's Square in the 1400s, and basically St. Peter's Square created a trend. And these were spread first all around the city, and then in the rest of Italy. For this reason, these have a very cute name. In Italian, they're called San Pietrini, Little St. Peter's, because that's the first area where they were put. So this very typical paving, which is made out of volcanic stone that is very common in central Italy, actually got the name from St. Peter's Basilica and Square, which is in the area over here. Okie dokie, we are ready for the grand finale, the special place that you can see only during this time of the year in Rome, and it has quite a pretty entrance. You see those blue banners over there. So consider that from St. Peter's Basilica, if you face it, it's on its left side. While we're going there, this is the entrance to Pope Francis's residence. Okay, so there's always Swiss guards guarding that passage. If you walk straight ahead, in theory, you would find the convent of St. Martha, where he chose to live. All little notes that you can take for when you will be in person in Rome. Also, the very modern new post office of the Vatican. Are you aware that the Vatican, St. Peter's Square, is part of Vatican City? The Vatican is a country of its own, different from Italy. So something else that is pretty fun to do when you come here is to head to this post office and send a postcard home. It will have the stamp from a different country from Italy. So that's another fun thing to do. Okay, so much more efficient and modern. They also already have the mailbox inside, so you can just buy and send right away. There's also something quite new. If you haven't been to Rome in the past 5 years, this is a very new edition from 2019. Well, now let's try to focus on it. Okay. Yes, let me get close so you can see and recognize the shapes here. Yes, here. This piece, which is by Timothy Schmaltz, contemporary artist, was made for the 105th anniversary of the World Day for Immigrants and Refugees. So it is made in honor and memory of all immigrants and refugees of the world. So it's a very modern piece, beautiful in my opinion, because all the characters in it have the faces and gowns and dresses and accessories that belong to different cultures. You can spend really so much time just looking at the features of every single one and discover something new every time. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Let's go back okay, to our entrance. But let me interrupt just for a second because this is a time to give you a memo about the link that you can use for donations. Let me share it one more time before I continue in chat. Okay. Here you go. As usual, everybody, thank you. Thank you always for your support. And I appreciate every single review and question you ask and getting in touch with me. Truly, truly thank you. Here we are. So the Museum of 100 Presepi, or Nativity Scenes. Now, I will not show you every single nativity scene in here. We do not have enough time, but I would like to show you the most characteristic, maybe the most representative. You saw the large main one in the center of St. Peter's Square, but consider that in the home of every Christian, you have a nativity scene. And what I love about it is the creativity that you can use to decorate it, to shape it, to choose the characters you want inside that surround the cave, how you create the location. Basically, this very ancient tradition has evolved into very, very different techniques and ways to represent. And this lovely idea that began a few years ago is now worldwide. Countries at the moment, 22 countries have donated, thanks to their artists, examples of nativity scenes from their countries, towns of Italy, where this tradition is strong and ancient. So really, you're going to see some bizarre electric circuits too. You're going to see so much. This is definitely a place that you cannot miss when you come during Christmas time. It will remain open until January 6th. I forgot to mention that the official start of Christmas decorations is December the 8th, but the official end is January 6th, the Epiphany. We have the saying in Italian, Epifania, tutte le feste si porta via. The Epiphany takes away all the holidays, right? Because it's the end day of these decorations. It is free entrance, something else very important to point out. And there's always Christmas music playing, so hopefully my voice will be isolated thanks to Zoom and you will not hear Mariah Carey so much. But it is Christmas, so that's also something we shouldn't miss. And I just selected a small amount of Presepi that I really, really wanted to show you. The first one I would like to point out is this gorgeous, gorgeous, and let me zoom in so you can see, embroidered nativity landscape, everybody. Everything is a result of embroidery. And why is this so special? Look at the wings of the angels, because this was produced by an artisan in the city of Pistoia in Tuscany, a city that has been known since the 1400s for its wonderful embroidery tradition. So look at that, right? This is all crocheted and decorated. So in this case, as usual, we have the baby Jesus. Inside this museum, the baby Jesuses were already added. It would have been too complicated to add them only on Christmas Day. And it's very simple. We just have Mary, we have Joseph, we have baby Jesus, and we have an angel. But you will notice on our journey that actually every artist has different choices based on what they prefer to highlight. I'm about to show you a very fun one. I had a hit out of it because really this truly shows you what ideas you can have. This is a fire extinguisher. You see it? Let me zoom in. Let's see it. There you go. Yeah. And this nativity scene was donated by the Vatican Firemen Service. Inside a fire extinguisher. Why not? Okay. Hilarious, I think. Super fun. More characteristic, for example, here This one, we're already going abroad because this was donated by an organization, a sanctuary in Brazil from Rio de Janeiro, the Sanctuary of Cristo Redentore. And everything is made with fibers of coconut. Let me read because I can't remember. Coconut, corn, and banana, right? Look at baby Jesus. He's made with a corn fiber. Hmm? We have the sheep. We have the donkey, right? We have the angel on top. So, very, very neat. Hmm? However, the typical nativity scene, the one that you can find most commonly in people's homes, is more looking like this, right? So you have the village. In this one, we have St. Peter's Dome, which is a bit anachronistic, but creativity, as I said. And usually we have villagers and their activities. This is a woman carrying her apples. This woman is carrying bread. And there's somebody preparing a table to dine together. And in this nativity scene, Mary, baby Jesus, and Joseph here in the corner. There's a little light bulb that is simulating the fire. Oh, forgot to say, the most fun thing, very typical, is that usually in the nativity scene, you have a donkey and a bull that also keep warm with their breath, baby Jesus. That's also very typical. Look how beautiful the houses are and the clothes hanging. It's truly like a religious version of a dollhouse. I love this. But let's continue. Let's continue. I have also chosen this little hut over here because this really shows you how international this tradition has become. First of all, for the friends from the United States, we even have a donation from New Jersey, New Jersey. And in this case, the hut has become a barn, typical barn. But we also have a Japanese nativity landscape from the Catholic Church in Osaka, the Church of St. Mary, where everything has become typical Japanese. Adorable one from the Czech Embassy of the Vatican inside a bottle made of wood. The one donated by Croatia, made out of a pumpkin. It's been painted. And look at this one from Hungary, painted on an ostrich egg. So really you see the creativity behind also that can be applied, accepted when creating a nativity. Everybody, I think this is the most bizarre one this year. It is donated by the national TV channel RAI, and it is Presepi nativity scene made entirely with chips. It's an electric circuit. And I love the fact that baby Jesus is the battery, right? And also Mary and Joseph, right? They're lighting up everything. I love it. Fantastic. And then we have truly some artists that deserve so much to be said about. This very large one, let me show you here in the center, Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. You might think, well, what's special about this one? This one was created by a blind artist, and it has been offered by the National Union of Blind, which is an onlus here in Italy. Look at the artistry. Wonderful. We have some villagers here too. Look at that. It's just incredible. Another quite special one. I'm going fast because I want to show you as many as possible. This one was donated by a community in Tuscany, which historically has been known as the inventor of rowing as a sport in 1861. So the entire nativity scene is put inside a boat. Everything is animated. And instead of villagers, we have boat makers and all characters that are tied to the construction of boats, right? This one also is moving. And then we have a shepherd. We have a woman who is washing a sail, and next to her, a sheep is sipping water from the fountain. There's even a kitty on top of a fountain. And then also in this one, look how sweet. We have Joseph that's kissing Mary's head. Here he's going to move again. And the three magi that also brought gifts. Very sweet. Here he is kissing. And the three magi around them. There we are. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's peculiar one again. Made with hay hat by an artist from Rome. Little treat is the pilgrim hat from 2025. Tomorrow will officially begin the Jubilee of 2025. So it's super important that we have also that appearing in this year's Nativity Scene Museum. Let's see, where else did I want to take you? I had a note. Okay, here, yes. Why not a nativity scene with sweets offered by a bakery? So we have candy. This nativity scene is made out of candy. You can see the ice cream over here. Well, a big ice cream. There's chocolate mainly here. Chestnut paste, macaroons, biscuits. Really peculiar. Or books. And here we have St. Peter's Basilica. And the actual nativity scene here made out from a book. Quite a statement, this one, entitled Despite All, Nonostante Tutto, which is made with debris. And it is from an artist from the Liguria area, from the city of La Spezia. I'm about to show you, see, I remember correctly, my favorite one. Not yet, but this is also pretty cute. Pine cone nativity. This one is actually produced by a rehabilitation center in Rome. And obviously Jesus is a little pine nut. Okay, why not? Or the one made by a hospital inside a wine barrel, right? With grapes. And this one comes from a city also in the Lazio region that wants to celebrate one of the typical products of Italy, right? Wine. Okay, let's go international though. I mentioned that all countries have contributed. We have a Paraguay Presepi. Here it is. This is actually a donation from the Paraguay embassy. Artist is Alcides Candia. There's also no villagers, but typical products from Paraguay. And a gorgeous Botswana. Botswana Presepi. City and region unknown, unfortunately. We just know the provenance. Now it's time for my favorite one. Let's go. Everybody who crochets, behold the wonderful tradition of crochet nativity scenes. I love, 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 love these. From Slovakia, this one, this larger one in the center. We have a Sicilian one, and we have one from the Lombardia region, the same region of Milan. There's also a cute one made with recycled materials by a high school here in Rome. They use little corks and cotton balls, feathers for the angels. So kind of sweet. That's the beauty of it. You don't need to use expensive ceramic statuines, but you can really be creative about the materials to choose. A word I must spend on the special nativity scene created by the artist who also designed the mascot of this year's Jubilee. His name is Simone Legno. If you haven't seen the mascot of 2025 Jubilee, go look her up. She's an anime girl. It has these same eyes. Actually, if you notice, the eyes are symbol of faith. They're not simple manga eyes. But this one is made by the same artist, so the same style. And look at the mocha nativity landscapes. I get a hitch out of this museum, really. It's so creative. Since we are in the year of the Jubilee, it's important that some artists decided to recreate the nativity in front of the Holy Door. And well, there's a bit of inaccuracy because the Holy Door is on the side of St. Peter's Basilica. So the view that we see behind the nativity scene is actually central. But everybody, this is the door that tomorrow, 7 p.m. local time, will open and launch the official start of the Jubilee of 2025 from here. Taiwan. I remember somebody connecting from Taiwan. Well, this is a wonderful nativity scene that has been offered by the Taiwan Bishops' Conference, made with wood and cedar. There it is. And here we have the three magi who actually brought a camel, right, to travel. We have the typical donkey and bull behind there, and just a shepherd and an angel to complete the scene. Just a few more, just a few more. It was really hard to choose, everybody. Really, really hard. We have vertical nativity scenes here. This one is from Spain. Artist, sorry, it's from the parish of San Jose Nafarrate, Maria Rosa, for example, from the city of Sorzano, okay, or local artists as well. Here we are. However, okay, we are also here, Croatia, oops. Really, there is so much, so much to enjoy. I would like to end with the little booth with nativity scenes that come from the Campania area, the region of Naples, and my birth town, Salerno. This nativity scene is from Salerno, because actually the tradition is very, very strong in Naples and in the south of Italy, so much that whenever you happen to visit Naples, remember to explore for sure the neighborhood of San Gregorio Armeno in Naples. I can type it for you if you are curious, because there is an entire street in this neighborhood that only sells characters for Presepi, for nativity scenes. That's how strong this tradition is in the South. We have nativity scenes inside museums that date all the way back to the 1700s, 1600s. It is a very ancient and strong tradition, much more than decorating a Christmas tree in Italy. So definitely check it out when you come to Italy during the holidays. Here, last one. And this was a quick showing. Oh, and obviously, sorry, let's finish with the Polish nativity scene, which among its characters also has the beloved Pope John Paul II, Wojtyła Pope, who came from Poland. Everybody, this was the end of our little tour inside the Museum of Nativity Scenes here in St. Peter's Square. But let us actually reach the center of the square once again for a final view of this gorgeous, gorgeous place in the city of Rome. Before I show you my face again, I would like you to enjoy one more view, the final view of the year in Rome, at least with me, before this year ends. Here we are. The gorgeous Basilica of St. Peter that will become the most visited basilica in 2025, expecting 3 times the amount of regular visitors. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. This curtain over here will drop. The holy door will be unveiled. The doors of that door, the door will be pushed open by Pope Francis, and that will be the official beginning of the Jubilee. Those doors will remain open until January 6th of 2026, and it will be quite a special year. Okay, this said, let me show you my face again. Okay, let me turn the camera. Please don't be scared. It is quite chilly. I have no idea what it looked like now. Voila. And everybody, that's a wrap. I'm going to open the chat again now and open a Q&A session. But before I open it again, let me share again the link to my personal page on World Virtual Tours, when you can leave reviews or just get in touch with me or leave a tip in case you enjoyed your time. Let me here enable the chat again here. Okay, here we are. And let's see if everything is working again. Let's see. 1, 2, check, check. Thank you, Ashris. So happy you enjoyed it. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm super glad. I'm super happy to show you such a peculiar place in the city of Rome. Usually, everybody goes for the Christmas markets, but not to St. Peter's Square or the Nativity Museum. So let's see if anybody has any questions. Yes, that was the only nativity scene from USA, but who knows? Get in touch with local artists, invite them to offer their versions of nativity scenes, because the museum is always open to accept samples from all around the world. The more the merrier, right? So let's see. Okay. Who else? Who else? Merry Christmas to you too. Timothy Schmaltz, it's Canadian, working out of the region of Waterloo. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Lou, for pointing that out. Yes, and absolutely beautiful. Very much appreciated. 25 years ago, I stood just about where you are standing right now. Oh, wow. So you were here for another Jubilee then. Okay, the last one was quite special. The Jubilee of the year 2000 was quite a stunning one, Dave. You were super happy. Who do the statues above Bernini's hug of columns represent? Yes, Beverly. So you have about 100, not about, they are 140 statues all around in correspondence of every single set of columns, sorry. The ones, if you look at the basilica, the ones on the left represent the most ancient martyrs or founders of monastic order of Christian history. The ones on the right were more recent popes or characters, people from the church up to the years of Bernini. So they were, if the square was finished in 1656, the statues were added from 1658 until 63. They were not made by Bernini in person, but by a team of artists who worked under his monitoring. So many could not be made in person by just one artist. That was a very interesting question. Oops, sorry. The stabilizer fainted, but that's fine. We're done. Let's see. Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy you enjoyed. Oh, I'm super happy, Marcy, that you get to share all these crafty nativity scenes. Thank you. Thank you, Maria Garcia. What do they do with all the nativity scenes after it's over? They are returned to the artists or to the embassies or museums that lended them for this moment of the year. Yes, everybody was curious about this part. Yes, yes, yes. They are super precious and preserved. So absolutely nothing bad happens to them. Thank you, Cindy. I'm glad you enjoyed this tour. You were in Rome a few years ago in early December and absolutely loved. Oh, you saw them. Good. I'm super happy. You would like to know the street of my birth town in Salerno, you mean? So I was born in a clinic called Clinica del Sole in the city center of Salerno, actually. So 100% Salerno citizen. Very proud of this. Thank you, Inge. No, Natalie is asking about the Netherlands. There was one from the Netherlands. I'm sorry I couldn't pick yours. If I would have known, I would have showed that one too. But there is an online catalog where some are shown. If you write Nativity Scene Museum, you will find a list of images about them. Somebody's asking if it's an oval, why it is called square. Yes, this is a common question for the English, made by the English speakers. For some reason, I don't know why the word piazza, the Italian word piazza, was translated in English through the centuries as square. But actually, piazza does not mean any shape in Italian. Piazza means area, basically. So it can be of any shape. It can be oval, it can be circular, it could be square, triangular, polygonal, it can be in any shape. So it is often confused when you use the English version square with the shape square, but it has nothing to do with the square shape. There are some piazzas that can be square shaped, but they are not all square. I hope my answer was clear. What is the significance of the Jubilee of 2025? This is a universal jubilee, Ashri. So every 25 years, these take place. Different from the extraordinary jubilees, which are launched for special occasions. For example, we'll have one in 2033, which will be for 2,000 years after the death of Jesus. So that one has a special significance. This one is a universal jubilee. So it will be the one that has a certain continuity through the centuries. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad you enjoy it. Can you get your passport stamped at the Vatican post office? Unfortunately not. You need to cross borders to get it stamped. The Vatican post office will only give you like the stamps you put on the letter. Thank you from Philadelphia. Let's check the time. Okay, almost. Last two. Okay. Yes, every Jubilee has a different purpose. Okay, somebody arrives on January 24th, so you'll miss it. I hope for you too that it will warm up. We've been having a bit of a cold winter, unusual. Somebody's asking if it's better to see the Presepi Museum during the day or during after sunset. I mean, It is pretty well lit, and there's Christmas lights, and there's like a projection with stars on the ceiling that you can't see during the day. And it is colder at night, so it is just as beautiful in the morning. But the museum itself is made to be admired after the sun goes down, after the sun sets. So it depends if you're cold, I guess. Uh, is it true that all your sins will be forgiven when you walk through the holy doors? Yes, that is the rule. All the sins committed until that point. And this is actually a tradition that has been standing, not a tradition, but a rule that has been standing since the very first Jubilee of the year 1300. And that is the idea behind the Jubilee. Imagine that back then it was dangerous to travel, and the church really wanted all pilgrims in the world to reach this city. So that was one of the ways to attract so many Christians around the world and risk their lives and travel and reach this city, the forgiveness of any sin committed in their life. Sometimes there were also partial forgiveness. So, for example, in a minor basilica or in specific points in the city that were not St. Peter's, you could have a small amount of time of sins forgiven. In the Colosseum itself, you could get a year and 40 days of indulgence if you went there. So it means that your sins were forgiven, but just for 1 year and 40 days. A little fun fact. Um, okay, glad that you will look up the information. Yes, yes. Stay curious, everybody. This is the best part of my job, that I make people curious, and they then ask more, right, about what there is to see in Rome. So let's see. You talk about sending postcard from Vatican to Rome. Reminded me a recent question from Russian popular intellectual TV game What, Where, When. Question was that country's embassy is located in its own territory, which country it is, and which embassy. Answer was Italy's embassy in Vatican. Okay, that's a super fun fact. Any Italian would have been able to answer that, but it is not. Yeah, that's not a regular thing. That's super fun. Even more fun is that the Vatican owns some extraterritorial buildings in the city of Rome, and it uses them as embassies of other countries. So, for example, the Spanish Steps gets the name from the fact that you have the Spanish embassy of the Vatican in front of that staircase. So we have Vatican embassies outside of the Vatican, which is even more peculiar if you think about it. Okay, very final question. Hmm? Oh, thank you, Vincent. You're so kind. Okay, lucky winner is uh, E, who is asking how often are jubilees? So in the very ancient past, they used to happen every 50 years. But from the 1800s, the rule was changed, and they started happening every 25 years. So usually now, in modern times, there is a universal jubilee at least once every 25 years. The last universal one was in the year 2000, as I mentioned. We have this one starting this Christmas Eve, but there can be extraordinary ones announced for special occasions. There was one, for example, in 2015. There was one in the 90s dedicated to Mary, for example, and there will be one in 2033. Most likely. We're not sure yet. Let's first think about this one. And finally, about the fact that we got rid of all the scaffolding in the city finally, and then we'll think about the 2033 one. So everybody, okay, so somebody's saying they happen as often as shares tours. I love that. I'm going to use it from now on tours. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. So it's time to wrap up our final tour of 2024. I thank you so much for spending this day with me. And I hope to keep sharing the wonderful places of Rome also in 2025. I hope that you will spend the nicest holidays with your dear ones, your family, your friends, whoever you want, with yourself, if you want to spend it with yourself, and that you truly enjoy it and have a time full of love, and beauty and curiosity. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope to see you soon. I'll see you in January. Stay tuned for the next date. And have a lovely, lovely holiday. Thank you, everybody, and see you soon. Happy holidays.